Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, and today I wanted to take just a quick minute to talk to you guys about Punisher Soviet #1 by ENNIS, Burroughs, Ortega, Woodward, and Steen. So we start this issue off with Frank looking over the aftermath of a massacre, which is very well done. Like, it's done with great precision and great care, almost to the level of Frank, although Frank is not the one who did this. From there, he kind of meets up with a local cop in the area who is just fed up with this one Russian local, crime boss, who, not too long ago moved to the area, maybe 5 years before, and just started basically cleaning house and taking over territory by doing the things the other guys wouldn't, like killing families and things of that nature. But over the last couple of years, he started to actually get really smart. He started doing things differently in a way that kind of suggests that he's getting ready to retire and kind of leave his business in the hands of his peons. So this cop, who's just had enough of it, gives Frank this information because he obviously wants this stuff shut down. Frank takes the information stating that, it's weird, but it's better intel than he could have got on his own. And then from that point on, Frank basically goes to attack the convoy that is moving the newest shipment for this Russian guy, and they have a really new, advanced tactical setup, and Frank kind of uses that to his advantage to turn their trap into his trap. Where he eventually blows up a bunch of dudes and takes one guy to the side to interrogate him, the only guy who's left alive. And basically the guy's like, I'm not going to tell you anything, and Punisher pulls up a picture of his family in his phone. He's like, you don't kill families, that's fine. But instead Frank just decides to call, and his son answers, and basically he's going to torture this dude for information while his son's on the phone if he doesn't tell him what he wants to know. And that dude's like, man, you're worse than us. And then, he tells Punisher what he wants to know. And, so yeah, from that point on, Punisher then moves to kind of go and hit one of the nightclub establishments that this mobster has. But when he gets there, he finds out that it's already being done. And then, he goes in and, gets all the people cleared out, mentioning that, it's understandable that the Russians would think that it's him who's been clearing out all these places, and in fact that's why they set up all these new traps, because they assumed the person who had been hitting them already was him, and especially because this person seems to follow a lot of the same tactics as Frank, including trying to minimize the injury or death of civilians. But whenever he goes in, the club is cleaned out, and in the back room amongst all these dead Russians is this guy. And when I get to the art portion of this book, I will talk a little bit more of that. So guys, the writing on this book is pretty solid. It is a pretty standard Garth Ennis outing for Punisher. This first issue isn't too crazy, it's just kind of the setup, so we know things will probably get a little bit crazier as things go on, but if I'm being honest, Garth Ennis on his Punisher stuff, the last few times he's come back to it, it's definitely been a little bit tamer, which is a little disappointing since this is still being published under the Max imprint, and this book in particular, it's called Punisher Soviet, it says Max on it, and it's got a parental advisory, but there's nothing really in this book that's worthy of a Max title. There's nothing in this book that you wouldn't just see in a normal Marvel comic about a mercenary or a soldier or something. So yeah, the writing's good. Frank is definitely very well characterized. I really like the kind of very typical general Punisher setup and plot they got going. Nothing overly special, but if you're a fan of Punisher, you'll definitely enjoy this story. So in terms of the artwork on this book, guys, it is also really solid. It is a little bit more kind of cartoony or caricature-esque in places than I would prefer out of a Punisher book, but it's not bad art at all. Now, the only issue I will actually state about the artwork in this book, because again, I found the panel layouts to be fine, the general art is fine, I really enjoy this person's style. However, one thing I did notice is that a lot of the artists, just regular dudes, they all kind of look the same. So whenever I got to the end of the book and they do the reveal of who the guy is who's doing all the killing, he looks exactly like the cop, he looks exactly like the mobster that they're after, and he looks exactly like at least two other people that show up in this book. He also looks like the cop who gave Punisher the information. It's hard to tell because the faces are exactly the same, just with more lines and dots on them, and it's hard to tell if it's supposed to be the same person sometimes. Which one of those guys is it supposed to be? It's almost impossible to tell because he looks nothing like any of those other guys. Is it supposed to be a character that we haven't met before, who hasn't been established? It's really hard to tell with the artwork of the faces. It's a little bit of same face. But other than that, like, again, that's kind of disappointing because it's the big reveal of the book. But other than that, I don't really have any complaints about the art other than that one thing. So, in conclusion, guys, yeah, I enjoyed this book. It wasn't amazing. It's not the best Punisher book I've read in so many years, but it's just, if you're looking for, like, another kind of standard, straightforward Punisher story, it's definitely worth it, because I'll tell you, like, right now, I've been reading Punisher Kill Crew, and now I'm going to start reading this, because while Rosenberg is a really good writer, I really don't like his run on Punisher. I feel like he doesn't understand the character, he doesn't understand that basic type of person. And again, I'm not that familiar with Rosenberg's background, but from everything he writes about the Punisher, it feels like he knows nothing about the way a character like Frank would have been trained and would behave. It's just not my Punisher. So I'm very happy to have this, even though it's not going to be the best Punisher book I've ever read. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you like Punisher and you like Ennis's kind of you like Ennis's version of Punisher, then definitely check this out. I do definitely recommend it. Right on, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you checked out this book this week, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it. And if you like this, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that you can check out all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, guys, hope y'all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.